Good afternoon. It is January 7th, 2022. It is Friday, and today we were looking at really just a range day. We hit the, I guess we made a measured move of the overnight highs and lows. I mean, technically, we just made two legs down. You can see. Yeah, so I had the overnight lows here when I came in around 5 o'clock, but then I extended them down here. But then when prices started selling off and I saw it bounce here, I was like, well, let's see what we got right here, and that turned out to be a perfect measured move. So I think I saw everything in here. We'll go through it. There's a chance I might have missed something in here or in here. Especially if there's like a second entry right here, but I think I spotted everything. So let's see, 5 o'clock comes in right here. Okay, and so this looks very congestive to me, and I actually had this drawn. And so since I had this drawn, I extended it over here, and that looks like we're in some congestion. But you can see we tested that price once, or that price level once, twice, a third time, a fourth time, and this fifth time. And so, you know, I was really considering taking this entry right here as a failed second entry long, first entry, second entry. But that was right at the midline of these overnight highs and lows, and this looks congestive at this point. So I didn't take that, but I think if you took that, it was good enough for a scalp. And then the news item came in, I forget what it was, in unemployment or something, and that gave us some really nice volatility. And when prices turn down off of this same price level right here, and you get this first entry, failed second entry long, I marked it as aggressive because look at all those bars stacked up. But if you're looking, I mean, that's clearly, that looks like a leg up. We come down, another leg up, and it's close to the EMA. I think that's a great entry. To at least, I was expecting it to test this low, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, I didn't get a runner here. I don't think. Maybe I did. I didn't get a runner down to here is what I mean. I got 2 points, I think. That's a good entry. So we break down beneath the overnight lows, and we're expecting a little bit of a reversal. Didn't get a setup. I guess maybe you might have gone long here on this higher low, but that's kind of congestive. So we come back here, and you get a first entry, failed second entry, and I think you need to take that, especially look at all these consecutive higher closes, opens and closes, and it gives you the failure. I think you got to take that, and that's clearly a channel up. Probably like that. Move to a new high after the break, and we start moving down again. This is just too much overlap, and we're at these overnight high lows, so I didn't feel comfortable entering anything in here or marking any trades in here. But you can see there's a downward bias. Then we come back down here and we bounce. First entry, failed second entry. You might take that, but I'm trying to start preferring. And that, if you draw your trend line, that looks real good. I'm trying to prefer failures off the EMA, but that does look pretty tempting right there. So we get an overshoot, leads to a break. That's a second entry. So I'm definitely going to mark this one blue. Even though that looks congested, with the signal bar that good, I'm thinking we're going to test the highs. I'm going to mark this one green aggressive because that signal bar is no good. And you can see this is a higher low too. And since we broke out down here and failed, we're thinking that we might go up to these highs, at least test this price level, and that's what happened. And it tests again, and that's okay. That makes sense. See, I didn't see this earlier. When it tested it again and failed. Oh, and okay, I also missed this trade, which I had marked. Whoops. Yeah, when it tests it again and fails, I think you got to take this. But I didn't mark this failure because of look at all these dojis at this point. You know, maybe I should mark this one green too. I just like that with this strong leg up. But yeah, when it tests that price level again, fails, you get a first entry, failed second entry long right here. Sure, that is a doji, but it doesn't look like congestion just yet. It's not. It doesn't look like it's overlapping these two bars. So I think you got to enter that. Sets up well. And that makes complete sense why that failed. Here we bounce off the trend channel, first entry, failed second entry long. You got room to the lows here, and that's what I like about this. I think I would have marked it green if we didn't have room to the lows, but you do, and it sets up well. That's a trap. You might enter that on the engulfing bar. And then we make a double test right here. Let's see that. Oh, I guess I had it like this. Yeah, there we go. Double test right here. First, it's also it kind of looks like a first failed second entry long. It also looks like we made a double bottom, so that's technically not a second entry short. But you can also see the EMA flattening out, so there's reasons to be a little weary there. And here, this is just a lower high. Kind of looks also like a failure. Then this, we're getting away from the EMA a bit too much. This is just the first entry. All this is too far from the EMA. We hit this measured move, and you get a first entry, second entry short, and you know, this is tough because you can see my trend channel isn't drawn. It hasn't been broken yet. So that's a tough call. I'm actually about to mark that as green, especially because we just hit that measured move, so we don't know if we're going to bounce and go higher. If that closed beneath the EMA, I think I would keep that as marked as red. But I like this. This is a second entry short right here. I mean, if you count this as a new low, technically it's a first, second, third entry, third, fourth entry, but this looks like a second entry short to me. Very bearish. This even looks like almost like a double test right here. So, but this is clearly still a channel up, so I don't think you can take that. But then when you get this first failed second entry long, I like this because you can see we're having trouble going higher, and I'm expecting to prices to at least test this low again, and that's exactly what happened. You would have got a nice quick move out of that one, but then all the buying came back in. Oh, we bounced right there. So this would be your failure. That's too far from the EMA. So get that out of there. We come up here and we start riding this trend line, but this is too congested to me. So I don't like any of that. We come back within the overnight highs and lows, and we make that pretty steep leg up. And so I was wondering if we would make it back up here, but we didn't. So not sure if that's a sign of us going lower. So we make this big leg up, and there's a first failed second entry long idea here. But what would keep you out of that is look at how strong that move up was. And we haven't made a move to test this new high. And you could argue that this closed outside right here, and then we got 2 legs up to a new high. But I think you got to be patient there. And yeah, if you have your trend channel drawn, look, you're going short into the beneath that channel, no matter how you draw it. So that's what could have kept you out of there. Then it looked like we were trending down, so I started, once this channel broke, I looked for a failure. So if you were looking to go short, maybe you would have taken this first second entry short right here. And you probably would have been right to do so, because look at this congestion that formed after this 1-2 legs down. The breakout lower fails. Well, we come up here, and I think that's the reason to go short here. Second entry back into congestion. But I was looking for a failure. We had a break of this channel. And to me, anyway, that looked like a really good failure setup. And you get a scalp out of it, but then it comes back down and stops those people out. So really, at the end of the day, this was just congestion. Just people getting chopped up. All this way too congestive. Not sure why that was happening. Breakout to the low side. Not a great setup here. Too far from the EMA. Come back. Breakout to the high side. I'm going to delete this just so you can see. Breakout to the high side, and that fails. And then we form this channel down. And it's still within this range. So that would be tough to know what's happening. But to me, that looks like we got our first leg right here, and looks like we went a little further for our second leg down. But if you see this channel and you want to take a risk, you're going into like a triple bottom right here. But this looks like a first second entry short, but it's also a first failed second entry long. So I marked that green. And yeah, that's what I saw for today. So the 2 trades I took today, both trades I liked. This was from the news item, so it was a little more risky because prices were moving really fast, but I like that setup. And then I took this one, and I like this one too. So thankfully, I took 2 trades that I liked today, and then I think Mac would mark on his chart. So hope everyone had a good day. Have a blessed weekend. I'll be back next week.